Ladies and gentlemen, our handsome, shining, bright guest today is a mindfulness and mindset coach. His name is Alok Taunk, and he's on a mission to help professionals and the public in large to lead a healthy, happy, and successful and spiritually awakened lifestyle by integrating strategic mindfulness principles. So this gentleman here is an expert on mindfulness, and he's on a mission to build a more conscious world. He's the co-founder of Eastern Mindfulness, a leading mindfulness and self-development organization, a wellness platform which provides mindfulness-based processes and programs to individuals and companies. And we hope that we will hear from him today about those processes and programs that he talks about on his app, as well as on his website, as well as on his coaching programs. He's the co-founder, talking about his app, he's a co-founder of a guided meditation app called the Mind Feed app. And towards the end of this live interaction, I hope he will also take us through some guided meditations because we are all going through a very rough time right now. Given the situation in the country. He's a staunch advocate of mental wellness and holds a motto of empowering people via strategic mindfulness protocols. And what I've found interesting is he spent 13 years working in the corporate world before he found his true calling. Please join me in giving a virtual round of applause to Mr. Alok Taunk. Alok, you're welcome. And thank you for taking out the time for this interaction. Thank you also for being very patient with us while we were fumbling with little technical challenges. Keynote speakers these days, we have to be our own technicians, our own camera persons. Gone are the days when we would walk in for our test run on a stage and ask the mic person, hey, your mic is not working well. I need a little bit more. I need a little that. And now we're going to manage all of it on our own. Thank you for being so very patient. And ladies and gentlemen, as I already said, this gentleman is not only helping other people be more mindful, but you can also see he's radiating positivity and energy. And it's a pleasure to be speaking to him today. Alok, I want to pick your brains on a number of subjects, but I want to start with we pick up the newspaper in the morning and there are some horrible news coming in. We pick up the phone and we look at WhatsApp and there are scary images and scary visuals. And, we cannot deny it's a very, very tough time for India specifically and across the world as well. During these very difficult times, how does one apply the principles of mindfulness as you teach them? And how does one stay balanced amidst the turmoil that's going on right now?
So, Simerjeet, first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my gratitude and would love to congratulate and appreciate you and your entire team for doing this fabulous job.
Thank you.
You have been consistent in your journey, incredibly, the kind of quality content that you have been sharing on the platform, and I'm sure it is adding a lot of value to all the viewers and the consumers out there. So thank you once again, and keep this going. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So coming to your question, Simerjeet, yes, it is quite unfortunate that we are going through this kind of turmoil, and who had thought that something like this would hit us hard on our face, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We were not ready, and uncertainty and ambiguity is what fears us the most. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, that's what triggers the survival instinct. We don't like uncertainty. We don't like ambiguity. We want to be certain.
Right.
And these days, if you see from the last 1.5, 2 years, every day we start the news channel or the social media for that matter, because now the kind of news sources that we have, they're like horizontally expanded.
Mm-hmm. And they're instant, and some of them are not even true, some of them not even accurate.
Exactly. There is a difference between chai and masala chai, right? So it's good to have chai, but when you have a lot of masala in the chai, that will not be good for you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So when it is about news, when it is about information which is curated, that can really add a lot of value to us.
True.
But when there is a lot of adulteration happening in that information for some other benefits, that can actually get us on a different level altogether. It can deteriorate our perceptions, it can deteriorate our perspectives.
I agree.
So coming back to the way we are consuming a lot of content these days, because the thing is, at the end of the day, even we have that feeling of not missing out on anything. What's happening out there? I want to know everything, right?
It's instinctive, most
And
of the
that's where
times.
we are in a yes, and we want to stay ahead in the race of knowing it all,
Right.
right? Somewhere it also fulfills our ego that yes, I know what's going on there.
I know what's going on.
in
Even
US.
if those
I
are
know
things
what's
that
going
I
on.
should probably ignore, or I should probably just send my blessings, and I don't need to know all the gory, graphic details of what's going on. But still, as you rightly said, it is perhaps a lack of mindfulness there, Alok. That by default, I'm picking up my phone first thing in the morning. By default, I'm just picking up the newspaper first thing in the morning and looking at what's on the front page, which is usually negative.
Yes, it is a part of our habit. The way we have trained our nervous system, the way we have trained ourselves, right? Because habits, see, Simerjeet, when we talk about our life is nothing but it's a collage of habits, right?
True.
The first thing that you do in the morning till the last thing that you do in the night, everything is a habit, right? It's a result of habit. So the thing is, what we need to do here is, during these tough times, is we need to become more conscious. We need to become more aware of what exactly we are doing, because our life is nothing but it's an autopilot right now. We are doing the same things over and over again. We are getting into the same rut over and over again, right? This is what I call
Especially
as
when
an
most
emotional swamp.
emotional swamp, and especially when most people are restricted within the boundaries of their own homes and they cannot go out. Earlier we had all these sort of little outings that we would go out and come back refreshed, have a dinner, go for a walk, go for a run, or meet up with your friends, have a beer or something like that. You would come back refreshed. But now, since you are, as you said, within the boundaries of your home, you're now in the emotional swamp. So how do we get out?
Yes. So exactly, now, Simerjeet, I'd love you to give a thought on this. Earlier, when things were open and when things were normal, and if you were given a choice of doing 15 days of work from home, you would be happily doing that, right? You would be, in fact, counting your days. Oh, there are only 5 days left, only 3 days left, then again I have to go to office. But now when we are talking about work from home, it is indefinite. And that's the reason that scares us.
The uncertainty.
What time we have to do this? And we are, the uncertainty, and we are locked in the house. So, how can we deal with this? There are certain principles, Simerjeet, about strategic mindfulness, because that's what I preach. And I preach that because I practice it, not because I teach it. I think that this is one of the life skills. It is not just a tactic or a technique, but it's a life skill that we need to integrate. So it all starts with awareness, Simerjeet. We need to first become aware of what is it that we are going through right now. What is it that we are feeling right now? What is it that we are thinking right now? Because the way we think is the way we feel. The way we feel is the way we behave, right?
Agree.
If we keep on thinking negative all day long, and of course we are going to think negative if we are going to consume negative, right?
I
So
agree with that.
what we are consuming, not just physically but mentally and emotionally, that is something that we need to become aware of.
So we need to be more
awareness is the primal
aware of
principle.
what we are consuming via social media, via newspapers, via the conversations, telephonic conversations. If they're all fear-based, if they're all, doomsday based, everything is coming to an end and things are really bad, I'm going to condition my mind to accept that is the reality, and I'm going to go deeper into that emotional swamp, as you just talked about it.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, I would like to give all our audience a formula, and this formula, you just apply it in any aspect of your life, not just the times that we are going through, because pandemic is just one of the challenges. Life is full of challenges. This is what I tell to my people, that, life is not a straight line. It's a curve. We have our ups and downs. So this is just one of the challenges. Life is full of challenges. Awareness, it all starts with awareness. When you have awareness, that brings clarity. When you have clarity, that breeds confidence. When you are confident, that's when you take action.
Right.
And when you take action, that's when you take that's when you get results. Right. So, and now if we just flip this equation, we get the other side of it. If there is no awareness, we have no clarity. If there is no clarity, we don't have confidence. If we have no confidence, we will never take action. And if we never take action, we'll never get results. So as of now, what we need to do is, Simerjeet, the first principle is awareness. The second principle is clarity. Once you are aware that what am I feeling, what am I thinking, what am I doing, how am I behaving, that will give clarity in whether this is required or not.
Am I overdoing it? Am I overthinking?
Very much important. Yes.
So I catch myself in the process. If I become more aware, I can see perhaps I'm spending too much time on Twitter or WhatsApp. Perhaps I'm talking to too many people who have a negative point of view of what's going on. So that awareness will tell me, maybe I need to take a step back. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yes. So Simerjeet, awareness is like switching on the light. You are finding something in the dark. You're not getting it. For hours, you're finding it. It's just one switch that you have to on. It takes a second. And all of a sudden, the room is full of light and you get what you want. It's right in front of you, right?
I love that.
So
I love that.
Awareness breeds clarity. So once you have your switch, the light is on, it's all clear. Now you get what you want, right? And when there is light in the room, you will walk confidently. You will not have any fear that you might fall, right? So clarity leads to confidence. So now when you have clarity, oh yes, so these are not the numbers, these are actually hyped up numbers. When I look at the death tolls, when I look at the recovery tolls, when I look at how people are treating, when I look at what the medical facilities are doing, now when I get clarity, oh yes, things are better, they're not getting worse. What it was 1 year back, today what I'm seeing, things are better. That clarity will give me confidence.
So
and that confidence,
no, go on.
Yes.
No, please.
That confidence will in fact help my immune system as well. Because medical science today says that when you are stressed, when you are anxious, when you are fearful, that's when you deteriorate your immunity levels, right? So when you get clear, when you get confident, automatically you're boosting your immunity levels as well. You're boosting your happiness index as well. So this is super important. It actually impacts various different levels of your existence.
So in effect, what I'm doing is I'm trying to wean myself off the excess of negative input, right? From my environment, from the news, from WhatsApp, from Twitter, or people who always tend to look at the negative side of things. In the process, I'm not ignoring the reality. I'm not ignoring the danger of the virus. I'm not ignoring the numbers that are there. I'm not ignoring the safety protocols that I should be following. But what I'm now doing is I am, as you said, flicking on the light bulb of possibility and hope. I'm now trying to look beyond the doom and beyond the hopelessness towards a brighter side, and perhaps telling myself, there was no for the same disease we did not have a vaccine a year ago, and now we have multiple vaccines available, right? For the same lockdown situation, we did not have work from home scenarios, and many people lost their jobs, and now every company has sort of evolved a work from home format. People can still pretty much hold on to their jobs and go about this. So I'm trying to train my mind to look towards the brighter side, which is a wonderful metaphor. This whole awareness thing reminded me of a story by Jack Canfield. And he says, this guy who lost his car keys. He lost his car keys and he was frantically searching for them underneath the street light right outside his home. And he's going about this, it's been 10-15 minutes, he's sweating. His neighbor looks at it and he's very concerned. He said, look, can I help you? I think probably you've lost something. Yeah, I lost my car keys. Can I help you? He said, yeah, sure. So he joins in. So the neighbor is also now busy in helping him out, and so both of them are now together searching for the car keys. This goes on for maybe 20-25 minutes. They don't find the car keys under the light, so the neighbor, just out of curiosity, asks, are you sure you lost them around here? To which he responds, he said, well, I actually lost them in the other street where it was very dark there. Here there is light, so I thought I'd look for them here, which is a funny short story, but I think it demonstrates an important point that the awareness is also within us. We need to tap into that awareness within. So I think it's very important to declutter and sort of remove what is adding on to your stress and worry and focus on what's truly important. So thank you for sharing that with us. I want to talk about your journey. Sorry, Alok. Yes, please.
Yeah. So I'd just like to add this. I really love what Plato had said. This saying that an unexamined life is not worth living.
I love that.
I love it so much that yes, you need to audit your life at regular intervals. You need to examine your life. You need to examine your thought processes, your emotions, your belief systems, your attitude, your preconceived notions. It is so very important that we stay, under that examination. Otherwise, we might lose our destination. Yeah.
I love that. Those are very profound words indeed. And thank you for sharing this in this context. An unexamined life is not worth living, which also, in this context, in the current context, if we apply it to that, it means that if we don't examine, if we leave our minds in the autopilot mode, they're going to drift towards the negative, right? So we need to take charge. Thank you for sharing that. Alok, I'm interested in your journey of how did you become a mindfulness coach, which is a niche that you've carved for yourself in the self-development industry in India, which is still blossoming in a way, moving beyond the babas and the sadhus and the religious aspect of it. That's and moving more into people who are spiritual in the sense, not necessarily religious, but spiritual, and then they're adding value. So talk to us about, you've spent 13 years in the corporate world before you decided to make the shift. Talk to us about what prompted it, and what were the challenges, and about the lessons learned on the journey so far.
Yeah, Simerjeet, this is interesting because honestly speaking, I never ever thought that I would ever be a coach or a trainer. I would ever be in this coaching space. Because, Simerjeet, when we talk about being a coach, when we talk about being a trainer, there are certain attributes that a coach requires in terms of personality, in terms of communication, in terms of fearlessness, in terms of audacity, in terms of communicating and connecting with people. I had none of them. I had none of them. And when I used to see myself, I was like, I'm a backbencher. I'm just there to sit in one corner. I just cannot
These
do
backbenchers change the world, my friend.
And but Simerjeet, the thing is, it is always said that the kind of environment that you are in, that really grooms you up and that really pushes you. So right from my childhood, I have been seeing people around me, primarily my parents. They had their own routine in terms of meditation, in terms of chanting, in terms of, their own ways of following certain things. So this was not new for me. So right from the age of 15, I've been practicing mindfulness and meditation. Whether it is
that's early, that's quite an early age. It's quite an early age, right? That's good.
Yeah. Simerjeet, the thing is, people generally see, the thing is, the spirituality context is actually tweaked. It is taken at a different realm altogether. But people do ask me that at such a young age, spirituality, come on, this is the time, when you retire, that's when you have to get into all this.
Right.
And I just have one thing to say, Simerjeet, that when you get into playing a game, do you know the rules at the start or after playing the game? Right?
Good question.
If you are going into a rugby game, let's say, and you get into the field and you don't know the rules, what will happen? You will be flat on your face, right? But when you know the rules, that I have to go here, I have to run this way, I have to take the ball, that's when you'll be able to do justice with the game and with yourself as well. So life is a larger game on a larger playground. If you don't know the rules, if you don't know what you are expected to do, you will fall flat on the face. So this is the kind of understanding I got when I was listening to various people and even my parents. And that moment onwards, I started practicing. But honestly speaking, Simerjeet, I had no idea how is this going to help me. I had no idea how meditation is going to help me. I had no idea how mindfulness is going to help me. I just did it as a routine, right? But at the other end, I had my conventional life, which was going on. I come from a management background. I did my bachelor's of management studies and then MBA in marketing. And then I started with my sales job.
Okay.
So, everything that we read in books, is different. But when the rubber meets the road, that's when you feel the heat. Right. That's when I started to know what pressure is, what sales is, what targets are, unrealistic expectation, client expectations, and QBRs and meetings and follow-ups. It was actually driving me crazy.
AKA the real corporate world. You got a taste of that, right?
Yes.
As opposed to what we learn in B school, or as opposed to the ideal corporate world with all the values and everything. all the fluffy, nice things we talk about. You got to experience the real thing with dirty internal politics, with people trying to pull each other down, and so many other
Crazy.
things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Crazy. So the thing is, this actually put me under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. 13 years of my life, I worked with various organizations, various leaders in various teams, part of various think tanks, being a leader, having my own team. What I was able to find is, Simerjeet, that I was actually going through a lot of stress, anxiety. I've gone through burnouts as well.
Oh, really?
But the one thing that held me strong was my practices. No matter how bad day I had, but when I got into that routine of mindfulness and meditation, that neutralized everything. That got me to square one again. Okay, it's a new day, it's a fresh start, right? So that is what held me strong. But Simerjeet, I'll tell you something that really shook me was when I was able to look at when I was seeing my colleagues, my bosses, my clients, my team members, and everyone, they were actually going through a lot of stresses, and they were not able to handle because they had no mechanism, they had no technology, they had no technique of doing that. And you would agree to this, that everyone has a different way of handling stress.
Indeed.
Right? Some of them, they eat a lot to handle stress. Some of them, they don't eat at all. Some of them, they sleep a lot. Some of them, they have sleepless nights. Some of them, they pop pills.
Right.
So some of them, they get addicted to smoking and drinking. Right. So one of my colleagues, I saw him, he started eating a lot. He grew obese. Right. There was another colleague of mine, he went through a divorce because he was not able to handle the work-life balance. And I thought to myself, Simerjeet, that this is not how people need to live lives. Where at one end, I was able to handle stress. I'm not saying that I was immune to stress, but I knew what to do when I was in stress, right? And that's what makes a difference. So I thought that let me do something wherein I can help people with my practices. And then I came up with my platform, and the story goes on. I have Eastern Mindfulness and stuff like that. And then I started connecting with corporates and doing programs. So that's the entire U-turn. I never thought I would be here, but these experiences, they made me do that. Yeah.
That's fantastic. No, it's a great story. I'm interested. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people who are listening to this right now, especially our young corporate professionals on LinkedIn or YouTube and other platforms, there are a lot of people who feel that their calling is somewhere else, not in the current line of their work, that their current line of work is sort of suffocating them, that it is not allowing them to exhibit their full creativity, and they feel stifled. And therefore, what they want to do is they want to switch. So they always ask me, so you made this change from the hospitality industry into becoming a motivational speaker. A lot of our guests have made these unconventional choices in terms of their career and how other things go. Talk to us about how easy or difficult was it to move away from one of the biggest addictions in the world, which is a paycheck. Right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, and talk to us about, please, about how did you build this practice of mindfulness coaching, and what perhaps inputs you could give to youngsters who might be wanting to do the same.
Simerjeet, of course, it is difficult to step onto other boat when you are sailing smoothly on one boat, because there is again a lot of uncertainty and ambiguity that comes in. But the thing is, I would like to tell all the aspiring coaches and aspiring trainers out there, if you want to get into the coaching industry, don't take it as a hobby. Take it as your dire need. That has to be your need. The need to help people, the need to add value, the need to create a platform where you can change lives, transform lives, help people to move forward in their lives. Because if you take this as a hobby, hobbies are easily lost by distractions. And just look at it from this perspective. We had many hobbies while we were a child, right? Some of them, they used to play guitar or music or drawing or painting. I had a hobby of painting. I used to give classes as well. But I don't remember when was the last time I painted or took a brush in hand. Because when you get into the ups and downs of life, that's when you think and see what is more important right now in terms of survival, in terms of relationships, in terms of the ongoing engagements. That's when hobby goes on the back burner, right? So if you really want to take this up, take it as your passion. If you're really passionate about it, because when we talk about, Simerjeet, when we talk about the coaching industry, the training industry, it is glamorous, right? There is no second thought on it, because you come up as on the center stage, you get a lot of attention, you get a lot of respect, and people look at you from a different perspective. But now
And
it is important.
that glamour part is what attracts a lot of youngsters. It's like, oh wow, I would like to have a life like that. I would like to travel to different locations, go on to different speeches, and I'm the one who's talking and everybody's listening. They love it, but what they don't see is perhaps the so many other aspects of making this possible. And right, okay, great.
Yes. In fact, Simerjeet, I get many DMs on my Instagram, on my LinkedIn, emails as well, where there are aspiring coaches who write to me that, Alok, you have been into this mindfulness journey. Even I want to be a mindfulness coach. I want to be a happiness coach. How do I go about it? And, Simerjeet, I just tell them one thing, that number one, please peep into yourself. Where is this coming from?
Right.
This need of becoming a coach, where is it originating from?
Right. What is the driving factor behind it?
Yes. If, I always tell this, if the stronger the seed, right, sweeter would be the fruit, right? So, or you can also place it as stronger the roots, sweeter are the fruits, right? So, you need to understand what are the roots, from where this intention of yours or this desire of yours is sprouting up, right? Because if it is coming from making it into the glamour industry, making it into the coaching or teaching industry, then it is short-lived. But if you are invested in your vision and your values, because I'm a firm believer of this, Simerjeet, that our life is nothing but it's a reflection of our values.
Agree.
And for coaches, for trainers, it is important that you stand strong on your values.
And you know what your values are, right? You spend time knowing and trying to figure out, because a lot of us we're subconsciously driven by our values, but we don't know them. So it's like a hidden force which is driving us, but we're not aware. As you said, the light switch is not on yet.
Yeah. And it is as simple as that, Simerjeet. See, if there are two people, both have half an hour to spend, right? Now, their values will define where they will invest their half an hour. One might watch a movie or a documentary, right? Or something on YouTube. The other might read a book and gain something out of it, right? So our values drive us in using the resources in the best possible way.
Agree.
So the same reflects in life as well. One person has 70 years, 80 years, 90 years to live. The value of that person will decide what I want to do, what I want to invest in, how do I want to spend the rest of my life. The other might just party hard and go around, right? So it is all the values of us, what we are holding inside, that's what reflects on our life.
Great, well said. And people have given it different names. We can call it discover your purpose, or find your higher calling.
Yeah.
We can call it your value. We could call it conditioning, and so many other names. But it's important that we take charge. I think the bottom line of in different ways, we all sort of convey the same message, which is take charge. Don't be at the mercy of your default programming or your childhood conditioning, or this is what my parents told me when I was growing up, this is how far I can go, this is what my culture does, etc., etc. Everybody around me is doing this at that point of time. So it's primarily about taking charge and redirecting it into the direction of what you want to do, really, rather than being driven by your genes or by your cultural conditioning, parental conditioning, or peer pressure, or whatever it happens to be. So thank you for sharing that. I want to talk.
Simerjeet, I would like to, I would like to add one more thing. So all the aspiring coaches and trainers out there, one more thing you need to do is, whatever aspect you want to get into in terms of coaching, go and talk to those people, go and talk to those trainers, go and reach out to those coaches. They'll be more than happy to help you. They'll be more than happy to guide you, because when you look at people on the screen or various social media channels, that's the delivery aspect of it. But how they're living their lives, how they're pulling it off, what is driving them, what is the motivating force, what are the values. So that's what will give you an idea that how the journey is. not just the content pieces that you're watching on the social media channels. Yeah.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that's true for coaching, and that's true for other professions also. A lot of youngsters, grade
Yeah.
10th through 12th, when they want to, and they're trying to figure out what should I do, that is the ideal time when they should go out and meet their sort of people who are already in those professions. And you see a lot of myths will be busted. A lot of assumptions will go away, and for example, some kid who wants to be a doctor should go and spend some time with another doctor and figure out, okay, he's got a BMW 7 Series parked outside, but this is what it takes to for him to be a doctor. This is what it takes. These are the sacrifices. This is how it's going to impact his family life. So I'm glad you mentioned that, and a great message there for all the aspiring coaches and speakers might have tuned into this conversation is go and talk to people. We are all very approachable. Well, most of us are. Can't say for all of us. We don't bite, and we are ready to help. So pick up the phone or drop in a message on LinkedIn, reach out to us. We'll do our best to assist you. Sorry, Alok, I think you wanted to say, you add something, please.
Yeah, in fact, a couple of days I had a session with the Delhi Rotaract Club, and there were aspiring students who were just graduating and post-graduating and getting into the real world, the so-called real world, the corporate world, right? And the topic was how to handle rejections. Interview rejections, right? Job rejections.
Wow! Another serious, if I may interject, another serious rejection that these youngsters are not able to handle are in the love situations. They fall in love with someone who I proposed to my crush, or I had a crush on this guy or this girl, and he or she rejected me, and I'm crushed. I want to commit suicide. We get a lot of SOS messages like that. Yes, please talk to us about that. I'm sure we are eager to hear.
Simerjeet, you are a mind reader, I should say. This is what I told them, that when it is about rejections, it is not just about job rejections. Rejections come in various shapes and sizes. It can be the person you wanted. So, you had the desire that I want to spend the rest of my life with this person, and you got rejected. It can be the job. The organization tells you, we don't need you, right? How do you handle those rejections, right? So that's what I told them, that, see, whenever it is about you're choosing a particular career, you need to understand the theoretical aspect of it. At the same time, you also need to know the practical aspect of it. For example, if you want to be a manager or a middle-level manager, go and speak to 5 different managers from different organizations. Go and speak to them. How is your day like? What do you do in the morning? What is your schedule? What are the kind of assignments you handle? What are the kind of people you handle? That's when you'll get to know the gravity of that job.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, what would happen is you would just get into it, and then you would not be happy in your
you paint a rosy picture of it. You think this is what it looks like. When you enter it, it's altogether something very different. And I think a valid point there, I really appreciate you bringing that up, is that real world exposure, there's no match for that. So you could study all the theory about being an entrepreneur, and we could watch all the Instagram videos about being an entrepreneur, but have you shadowed an entrepreneur? Did you intern with an entrepreneur, so that you can know what his or her challenges are? How do they run their businesses? And the next question, Alok, that is very important in the context of what's going on right now. Many people have been stuck inside their homes since February 2020, ever since travel stopped and lockdowns started happening. And we've seen domestic violence go up. We've seen addictions go up. A lot of people who had quit their addictions before relapse into it. We've seen a lot of divorces happen. And in fact, there is speculation that, I don't know how far this is true, but part of the trigger behind Bill and Melinda Gates' divorce was also that Bill was not on the road as much as he used to be. He was spending more time home. As I said, this is just speculation, what I read, what I gathered from some of the sources on WhatsApp and Twitter and elsewhere. But jokes apart, there's been people have been affected in a major way, being stuck in their homes and being their primary, entertainment. A lot of people miss their commutes. This was trending on LinkedIn some time back, the fake commute. People miss their commute. They used to complain about their commute so much, and now they miss their commute. So, what are your top tips when it comes to mindfulness and emotional balance and things in terms of especially for mental well-being in the work from home scenario? and also for people who are finding life very difficult at this point of time?
Yeah. So Simerjeet, I would like to give you, a metaphor here. Everyone who is watching right now, please try to introspect on this. Uh, we are using a age-old laptop. Yeah, the first laptop which was introduced,
Right.
and we get software updates. Right, we keep on
We do.
getting software updates. Now, what would happen if we are still using the same laptop and we take the latest update? Of course, there would be an incompatibility, right? We would somewhere fall back in terms of how smoothly we can use that entire system. Something similar is happening right now. The entire situation has changed, right? The entire environment has changed. The way things are happening, the way things are done, the way we are working, the way we are communicating, the way we are socializing, everything has changed. The world has changed. And if you don't change, if your processes don't change, if your routine doesn't change, then you will have an incompatibility in terms of living the future life, right? As it is said that the only thing that is constant is change, right? We all know that.
True.
But hardly we implement that, right? Now, when we are at home the entire day, right? See, we had our own routines earlier, but now everyone is at home and everyone has their own ways of working, own ways of behaving and dealing with things. And that's where we get that kind of friction that we never expected earlier, right? So this is the time to reevaluate the entire situation and set new ground rules.
It's
Right?
time
This
for
is
inner
the
growth.
time to set new ground rules. Yes, it's the time for inner growth. It's the time to take your relationships to the next level. It's the time to take your understanding to the next level, your awareness to the next level. And Simerjeet, one thing, what I understand here is we need a certain kind of boundary. Otherwise, we feel lost. Right?
Right.
I know you love poems. Yeah. So I just came across this beautiful picturization. It was a bird's eye view of a girl who was sitting, and there was a boundary drawn around her, and there were these words that this is the boundary that protected me, and this is the boundary that is restricting me.
Wow.
Right. So it was so deep. I mean, just for the next 10 minutes, I was just thinking over that. Right. But in this context, what I'm trying to
So
say
it's
is
both
whenever we have a
inhibiting
routine-
me, my boundaries both inhibiting me and also protecting me, nurturing me, safeguarding me in some way, right?
Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. So in this context, when I talk about boundaries, by boundary, what I mean is a routine, right? See, if you have 24/7, right, 24 hours, 7 days, now you have plenty of time. If you don't set boundaries for you, you will be lost. You will spill off all your time. You
Agreed.
will not be productive. You will not
Agreed.
be able to understand where time is slipping, right?
Right.
But if you have a routine for yourself, even if you're not going to office, have a routine for yourself, and that will bind you together, right?
Makes
So
sense.
I would love
Makes
to
sense.
share with all our audience today that, this is what I follow, and I would love to offer this to you. I call this as my prime hour, right? This is my prime hour of the day, and I start my day with my prime hour. So here, prime is an abbreviation, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
PRIME, and this becomes your prime hour once you
Okay.
start following this. So your P stands for the physical aspect of you, okay? R stands for the rejuvenating or the recreational aspect of you, right? I stands for the intellectual aspect of you.
Okay.
M stands for the mental aspect of you, and E stands for the emotional aspect of you, right?
That's great.
So what I do is basically, every morning, the first thing as I wake up, as I get conscious, as I open my eyes, the first thing is, in my phone, I have certain affirmations that I've recorded, right? In my
Nice.
own voice, I've recorded certain affirmations.
Right.
So the first thing is I take my phone and I start the affirmations. So I don't want any other thought or any other situation to take over me. I want those affirmations to be the first food that I feed my mind, right? And as I start that, I get on my exercise cycle and I start doing my exercise. I start doing my cardio. So basically, I'm taking care of the first two elements, physical and recreational or rejuvenating.
So it's like the
physically, I'm
breakfast.
actually
It's like the
sweating.
breakfast for your mind.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So physically, I'm sweating. At the same time, I'm intaking a lot of rejuvenating juice via the affirmations. It's feeding my mind, right? So once that is done, I do it for like 20 minutes. Okay. I have a 20 minute rule. So 20 minutes for first two, 20 minutes for second two, and 20 minutes for the last. It gives you like 60 minutes, 1 hour, your prime hour. The second thing I do is once I'm done with my exercise and the rejuvenating aspect, I start reading something. It can be audiobooks or it can be physical books. So this feeds your intellectual aspect. Right? So once that is done, then I get into my meditation. I get into my breath work, breathing exercises, pranayam, and my meditation. So that feeds my mental and emotional aspect. And then I stop it with like a gratitude practice. So that is feeding your emotional aspect.
Wow.
So this entire prime hour, you just do 1 hour a day, the first thing in the morning, and your energy levels, your understanding, your clarity goes to a next level altogether. So this also impacts your other relationships as well, right?
I'm sure.
Because many times, you wake up and you are cranky and you are throwing tantrums, why this and why that. But the first thing in the morning, if you take charge of yourself, then you will be radiating positivity. Yeah.
Which you are, my friend. So a round of applause for this very useful way to structure. And I think a lot of us might be doing bits and pieces of it, but what you're suggesting is to do it all together, to do it the first thing in the morning, the prime. Let's do a quick recap. It's physical, R is rejuvenation, I is intellectual, M was? Mental and emotional.
And
right?
E is emotional, yeah.
E is emotional. So for example, I've been doing the gratitude exercise. I do it, whenever I get time. There has not been a set time when I do it. And I think due to that reason itself, some days I just entirely skip it because I have not pinpointed an exact time that I should be doing it. I do my physical exercise also, but then again, it's not structured. So what you are suggesting is put all these aspects together, make it like a nice breakfast buffet for your mind and for your body. Do it the first thing. I love, James Clear's work on atomic habits, and he talks about if you don't have to make decisions when you wake up in the morning, the chances of you doing that thing are higher. So what he means is, if I don't have to search my affirmations in the morning on my phone or which affirmation should I listen to, and if I already have something ready for me the night before, my chances of using it way higher. So the same way with the gym. So if you've got your, I used to go, but now then due to the lockdown, the gyms are closed. So but if I would have my gym clothes, my gym shoes, everything down to the little thing, if I have them sorted out, the night before, my chances of going to the gym next morning are very high because I don't have to make any decisions. And we human beings, we hate making decisions. So great pointers there. And I think what you're talking about is the self-discipline. I recorded a video sometime back during the pandemic in which we said that this is the time when you have to be self-driven. Most of us have been so conditioned as young children to, follow instruction from parents, and then stepping into the corporate world to follow the instructions from the boss, that we perhaps did not develop the ability to self-regulate. So we had teachers, parents, and bosses. And in the middle of all that, we did not develop the muscle to self-regulate. But people who thrived and who were able to be a source of inspiration to others during the lockdown, during pandemic, who were able to make great progress in their businesses or their professional lives, who were able to assist others with all sort of emergencies, were the ones who were able to self-regulate, were the ones who were able to take charge of their emotions, have some discipline. You will not believe, Alok, I don't know, perhaps this thought resonates with you. For the entire 14 months since there has been zero travel for me as a keynote speaker, I have dressed up on 90% of the days. I have dressed up in my formals and shown when I show up at work, I would be in my formals. So my office is not very far from where I live, and a lot of times people would joke around, my family members, so my daughters would be very curious, where are you going today, right? So is there something special going on? I said, well, I'll tell you what's special today. It's another beautiful day. Life is happening. It's an occasion. I'm going to put on my best perfume. I will put on my best clothes, and I will show up at work in the best of the mindset. Even if we know there's like, okay, we don't have like so many things lined up to do, but this whole thing of self-regulation And the small details, like the feel of my formal shirt or the smell of my favorite perfume, the same perfume that I wear when I would go for a real talk somewhere, it activates in my mind that, what you're about to do is something important. And if I drop those standards, and this is what I observed, Alok, during this time, whenever I drop the standards in one area of my life, it would impact all the other areas. So if I would say, okay, let's just get up whatever time we want to get up, and slowly I would notice it is going to impact my eating, drinking, everything. So I think these standards are interconnected. So you maintain high standards in one part of your life, in effect you're maintaining high standards in all parts of your life. So thank you so much for giving those practical inputs there.
Also, Simerjeet, when we talk about having a successful day, right, a positive day, it is not about doing a bigger chunk of thing, but it is about how you are successful in each and everything, right? Successful in getting up early, successful in doing your affirmations, successful in having a healthy breakfast, successful in showing love to your loved ones, successful in accomplishing your work, the most important thing, successful in every aspect. That builds up a successful day, isn't it?
I agree. And if it's in a well-balanced format, you feel that you've had a wholesome day. It's not like I achieved a lot on the professional front, but I'm feeling drained out. But if I make sure I do my affirmations and other things, so it's all about self-regulation. And some of these things that give you results after a period of time, right? Exercise, for example, affirmations, gratitude, all these habits, they train your mind over the long term. So we might be missing the short-term impact, but in the long run, they're very, very powerful. Now, we're already 45 minutes into this conversation, Alok. So sorry, you were about to add something. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about happiness as well. Just a very short thing.
Please take your time.
This is also the formula to live a happy life, right? People generally have strategies for businesses. People have strategy for finances. People have strategy for investment. But when it comes to the core area of life, we don't have strategies, right? We leave everything on chance, right? Do you have a strategy to be happy? Oh, really? What are you talking, Alok? Do you have strategy for cultivating some calm? Oh, come on, be serious. What are you talking about? Do you have a strategy for cultivating sustained happiness? Come on, what are you talking about?
Strategies are meant for business. Right.
Yeah. So, once just thinking over certain things, Simerjeet, and this thought struck me that what is happiness? When we talk about happiness, happiness is nothing but it's an accumulation of smaller joyful moments.
Wow.
Right? Every moment when you love it, when you live it 200%, when you accumulate, make a collage of all those joyful moments, you become happy, right? And I just weaved it into a sentence, and it came to me that the moments of joy are like those threads which are used to weave a blanket of happiness.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
I think that's worth repeating. Your definition is worth repeating. Happiness is a collage of.
Yeah. So basically, the moments of joy. The moments of joy are like those threads, which are used in weaving a blanket of happiness.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. That's very profound. So small moments, everyday moments that we often overlook.
Yeah.
Glad you mentioned that. Thank you so much, Alok, and thank you for sparing so much time. Now, before we let you go, two very important things. One is conscious living in the age of social media and social distractions. That's a very important thing I wanted to touch upon quickly. And then we would request you to take us through a guided meditation of some sort, especially to something that reassures and calms people down during this very challenging time.
Sure. So, conscious living is something that I live, eat, and that's what I survive on. And when I talk about conscious living, Simerjeet, I would like to give all our audiences, because they're sparing so much of time, their energy and efforts, and they're here. I really appreciate, right from the bottom of my heart, each and every one of you who are watching us live right now. I offer my gratitude, and I want to give you, and I want to leave you with this idea of mastering what I call as the conscious pause. So I have developed this formula of conscious pause. And this basically has 4 different steps, right? And the question that you asked, that how can we be more conscious in this age of social media and stuff? Not just social media, but any aspect that is bothering you mentally, emotionally, and creating that emotional turmoil because of COVID, because of anything, right? Once you start mastering this art of conscious pause, this will take you to the next level altogether. It will breed a lot of clarity. There are 4 steps. Now just assume and imagine yourself that you're doing something, and all of a sudden, you feel that kind of uneasiness, that emotional overwhelm, that anxiety or that stress, that what is going to happen, what am I doing, about my career, health, relationship, work, anything, and any and every aspect of your life. The first thing that you do is, the first step is just stop doing everything that you're doing in that moment. Just disengage yourself. Just stop it and isolate yourself for the next 5 minutes, not more, just 5 minutes. Okay. The first step is to stop and isolate yourself. The second step is to disconnect yourself from all the physical and digital distractions. By physical distractions, what I mean is, when you're isolating yourself, ask people around you not to disturb you for the next 5 minutes, and switch off all your phones, put them on silent, put them on airplane mode. It will really not make a difference for 5 minutes if you just switch them off for 5 minutes, right? The third thing, what you do is, you either lower your gaze or you close your eyes, whatever makes you comfortable, because 70% of the distractions are visual distractions. So when you lower your gaze or close your eyes, that's when you are redirecting your focus and your awareness inward. From outward, you are channelizing it inward, right? And at that moment of time, you connect and align with your breath. Take 3 or 5 deep breaths and connect with your breath. Use all your 5 senses to connect with your breath, okay? And once you have done this, now you are in a different level of awareness. Now what I ask you to do is to activate curious awareness. Curious awareness. How do you activate curious awareness? That's the 4th step. You ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, what am I feeling right now? Number 2, what am I thinking right now? And number 3, where am I focusing right now? When you ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? That's when you actually get to know what is the exact feeling. Because our vocabulary, when it comes to feeling, is very weak. We just have 3 to 4 words. We keep on jumbling around those, right? When you ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? That's when you get a sense of it. And then you ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Because every feeling has a hidden thought. You ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Then you ask yourself the last question, where am I focusing right now? Am I focusing on the glass that is half full or the one that is half empty? This will bring a lot of awareness. It takes just 5 minutes, but it puts you on a different level of awareness and clarity altogether.
That's beautiful. That's what I'm, in essence, what I'm doing is I'm getting off the treadmill for a while. I'm getting off the treadmill of notifications, of emails, of WhatsApp alerts and things like that. And as you rightly said, I'm sort of disconnecting myself for a very brief period of time. And I'm now redirecting my thinking using these 3 questions, which is, what am I feeling right now? Excuse me, what am I thinking right now? And the third one was,
where am I focusing right now?
Where am I focusing right now? Where is my focus right now? So I think the scope for corrective action will lie predominantly in the third one. Where am I focusing right now? It is once I get to know, okay, this is the thing I'm focusing on right now, I need to move away from it. I always use this little magnifying glass. That's beautiful, but I use this magnifying glass, Alok, to always demonstrate the point, the power of focus. The more you focus on something, the stronger it becomes, to the point that it's going to overwhelm you. And I've seen the days I've spent probably a bit too long on Twitter and reading all the updates coming from different people about the pandemic, about the spread of the virus and the deaths and all that. When I log off, I feel really overwhelmed. I feel helpless, and so many other of those negative emotions, they run through me. But if I just take a little break and I probably write my gratitude journal or do something else or meditate or even water the plants or just do something that disconnects, I come back refreshed. But thank you for sharing these 3 powerful questions. What am I feeling right now? What am I thinking right now? Where am I focusing right now, so I can redirect? Alok, before we close our session today, please take us through some guided meditation which you feel will help the audience.
Sure. So request to all our audience who are watching right now, Now, neither Simerjeet nor I would be able to reply you. So just leave your phones, just leave your keypads and make yourself relaxed. All right. And just for next 2-3 minutes. And this is something that even you can self-guide. You can redirect yourself whenever you feel overwhelmed. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll use a little bit of the voice, some sound to anchor your attention. So what I want you to do is make yourself relaxed. Sit straight, but relaxed, with a soft smile on your face, right? Because that changes your biochemistry when you smile. Right? It produces endorphins in your system. So with a soft smile, you don't have to force yourself. Don't fake it. Just a smile that you are healthy, whole and complete. You are alive, you are breathing. The gratitude to the Mother Earth and this universe. And just focus on this sound. And take a deep breath. Inhale from the nose and exhale from the mouth. Inhale from the nose and exhale from the mouth. One more deep breath. Inhale from the nose and exhale from the mouth. Become aware of your entire body. And with every outgoing breath, just command yourself to relax completely. With every outgoing breath, command yourself to relax completely. Whichever body part I name, just bring your awareness to that particular organ. We'll start from the top of your head, forehead. Just run your awareness through all these organs: eyes, nose, lips, jaw, neck, shoulders, chest, upper back, lower back, stomach, hips, reproductive organs, both your arms, right arm, left arm, fingers, thighs, inner thighs, knees, calves, ankles, heels, feet. Take 3 deep breaths. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale from the nose and exhale from the mouth. And as you are inhaling and exhaling, just focus on this sound. And bring a sense of gratitude right from the bottom of your heart. And as you feel that gratitude, you see yourself expanding and relaxing. Be grateful to this moment. Be grateful for your breath, each and every breath that is coming in and going out. Be grateful for all the relationships that you're experiencing right now, the beauty of those relationships, the loving energy of those relationships. Do wear a smile, because smile makes you look beautiful. Offer your gratitude to your parents. Offer your gratitude to your partner. Offer your gratitude to your children. Offer your gratitude to all the medical workers, the doctors who are working day and night and saving the planet. Offer your gratitude to each and every stranger around you who are helping you and making life easier for you in some or the other way. Offer your gratitude to the food you eat and the water you drink. And with 3 deep breaths, full breath in, full breath out, you may slowly move your fingers, rub your palms, stretch your arms, and open your eyes whenever you feel like. There is no hurry. Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to I unmuted myself to make sure I don't interrupt in that process. That was beautiful, very, very relaxing. And I think it just took less than 3 minutes of our time to 3 or 4 minutes to just be more centered, more calm. For that period of time, at least, forget all the challenges that we're trying to fight and come back into reality more rejuvenated and fresh and energetic. Alok, it's been a wonderful conversation here today, longer than I expected, deeper than I expected. I really appreciate you taking out the time. Would you like to share any parting words with the audience before you go?
I'm thankful for this opportunity, Simerjeet, where I can share some learnings and takeaways with everyone who has given their time, their attention, their energy. I'm sure they had so much on their plate, but they consciously chose to be here and to, absorb this conversation. I'm really grateful. Nothing more, Simerjeet. Just stay conscious, be mindful, and integrate whatever we discussed in terms of conscious pause, in terms of the prime hour, because implementation is what will give you results, right?
That's my biggest takeaway
power,
today.
But implementation is superpower.
Yeah, rightly said. That's my biggest takeaway today is the prime hour, and to put all those things, all those nourishing things together in the first thing in the day rather than having them scattered all over. Because if they're scattered, the chances of me doing them are lower. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Mr. Alok Taunk here today. And if you wish to know more about his work, the website is Eastern Mindfulness. Is it easternmindfulness.com? And you can also look up Alok on LinkedIn. And his guided meditation app is called Mindfeed. And please feel free to reach out to him via his website, LinkedIn, or FB. Alok, do you want to share, about your services or your personal coaching sessions? What services you offer, so people who might be interested to improve their level of conscious living, if they want to reach out?
Yeah, Simerjeet, I mean, there's lots to say, but I would not take much time here. You can just Google Alok Taunk, and you will get all the details there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the best way. That's the best way to find and explore. Yeah.
Right. That is very sweet of you. Thank you so much once again. And I'm sure loads of people will be in touch with you to raise and elevate their level of conscious living. Thank you, Alok.
Yeah. Thank you so much.